Welcome back to another earth-shattering week of nuclear news. All your models are broken, literally. Anyone trying to project demand of uranium into the next few decades is going to be completely lost. Every single model you've seen is completely wrong. And the reason I say that is because we're about to walk through 1 week's worth of news in this space that just speaks to the exponential demand for uranium fuel going forward. And for the sake of time, we are just going to blast through it. But first, price action. Sprott Uranium Miners ETF, year to date, up 44%. Took a little breather last week because that is how markets work. Nothing goes up in a straight line. S&P 500 year to date, up 12.79%. So obviously, uranium miners are massively outperforming the broader stock market. Now, why is that the case? Maybe the market has stopped sleeping on news like this, but very unlikely. And that's my favorite time to invest, when the market doesn't understand what is actually going on. So watch this rundown of 1 week's worth of news related to massively ballooning uranium demand. Edison eyes SMR deployment in Italy. Leading Italian energy player Edison has announced its ambition to construct 2 nuclear power plants based on EDF's small modular reactor technology between 2030 and 2040. So expansion in Italy. Swedish nuclear. Government moves to change law. A bill to amend Sweden's legislation on nuclear power has been introduced by the country's government and parliament. It aims to remove the current law limiting the number of reactors in operation to 10, as well as allowing reactors to be built on new sites rather than just existing ones. So if this bill passes, the uranium demand models that you've seen, which already far outstrip supply, are going to have to be boosted even further higher, right? So get ready for more than 10 reactors to be in operation in Sweden, potentially. Remember, this is where the elite of the world want to take this energy source, and so likely that it will pass. Helen, Steady Energy, partner for Finnish SMR deployment. Finnish energy firm Helen has signed a letter of intent with Steady Energy, developer of the LDR-50 small modular reactor, with the aim of enabling an investment in a small-scale nuclear power plant for the production of district heating. Finland going deep into SMRs as well, just like everywhere else. Jordan advances nuclear power program with support from IAEA SMR platform. Jordan recently benefited from an IAEA expert mission on SMRs for electricity and potable water production after previously hosting an IAEA workshop on nuclear desalination. So they're advancing forward, again, just like everywhere else. Egypt studies sites for new nuclear reactors. Core catcher to be installed in Daba reactor Friday. So Egypt looking to expand. Kenya construction of first nuclear power station can begin in 2027. ABS approves Korean SMR power barge design. So we're not just talking about SMRs on land, we're talking about them floating all around the world. Doesn't get bigger than this. A design for a floating offshore nuclear power barge from HD Korea Shipbuilding and Offshore Engineering and KEPCO Engineering and Construction has received approval in principle from the American Bureau of Shipping, right? So we're moving forward with this early stage technology. Wyoming, Trona Mine could be first in US to have its own micronuclear plant. Tata Chemicals announced Thursday it will study using micronuclear reactors to power its Trona facility in Green River, which makes it the first company in the US to pursue small-scale industrial nuclear power. Why wouldn't every mining company do this, right? This is why we have to kind of extrapolate into the future. This is why the models are broken, because they don't factor in potentially every mine using this new revolutionary technology. The future of mining is micro reactors. Idaho National Laboratory sees big benefits, right? And so, not investment advice, but if you want to buy up land in remote regions because you know micro reactors are going to make them habitable and increase the value of this land, then feel free. Not investment advice, but just very exciting when you think about the potential to just bring energy anywhere on the globe, right? And that's why mines, which require massive amounts of energy, are looking into this. Saudi Arabia reiterates plan for nuclear energy. Saudi Arabia has announced it intends to move forward towards implementing full International Atomic Energy Agency nuclear safeguards as it works towards building its first nuclear plant. And this kind of summarizes the countries committing to nuclear power. Obviously, China, India, the two of the world's largest countries by far. Turkey, South Korea, Russia, Egypt, United Kingdom, UAE. I don't see any SMRs on here, though, right? I don't see Saudi Arabia on here. We just talked about them. They're building their first. maybe it didn't make the list because it's only one for now. I don't see Sweden, right? I don't see a lot of the activity that is really going on behind the scenes. I don't see data center SMRs in the US. Microsoft needs so much power to train AI that it's considering small nuclear reactors. There's only one option for baseload sustainable energy, and it's nuclear. So obviously, big tech is going to need nuclear power. What is one of the biggest risks to the nuclear energy renaissance that people point to is how long it takes to build these assets. Well, new techniques undermining common argument that nuclear plants take too long to build. IAEA highlights recent completion of reactor projects in China, Russia, and US. So here's just one example. During the installation of the pressure valve, an often lengthy and difficult process, 3D measurement technology improved quality and put the project 4 days ahead of schedule. So you have revolutionary technologies kind of synergistically working together. 3D measurement technology working to make nuclear reactor technology faster and more efficient, right? To have demand models factored in how quickly this stuff can come online. Now, this speaks to the mindset of the global elite political class, the World Economic Forum types. Bono, who is kind of a mouthpiece for that group, says he went from protesting nuclear energy to being for it. Lo and behold, this is where the masters of the universe want to take the future of energy. Extremely exciting when you understand that. Now, speaking of one of the early stage companies that are producing this technology, NuScale to work with Standard Power on nuclear reactors for data centers. Company could provide 24 units, 77 megawatts each. New York-based Standard Power, a hosting provider for high-performance computer companies, has announced plans to work with reactor company NuScale to develop 2 small modular reactor-powered facilities that will together produce nearly 2 gigawatts of energy to produce data centers. Romania sets out roadmap for licensing of NuScale Voyager. Romania's National Commission for National Activities Control has approved the licensing basis document for the NuScale small modular reactor power plant. So that begs the question, why is the stock price of NuScale Power doing this year to date, right? It's down 44%. It had a big up move. It seems like it responded to these big news stories. So there is some deep value in the space. This is what we're going to be talking about on my newly launched Patreon, which is going to have my exact portfolio. At the beginning of the year, my proposed allocation was URNM and the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Both of those assets did massively well, right? So we've had the safer, higher quality assets outperforming the riskier, higher upside assets. Well, now there's deep value in these early stage nuclear energy and uranium mines, right? And so we're going to be diving through where to find the uncovered value in the space, how to dollar cost average through this macroeconomic environment, right? Very turbulent. There could be a massive crash in 2024. Most likely there will be. But in the meantime, we're going to be staying on top of the space, doing deep dives into NuScale Power, and continuing to bring you news every week, because every single week, the demand for nuclear power goes up and the supply for nuclear power goes down, right? And it's going to be years until that's solved.